Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will call the Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee to order. We do have two sets of minutes to approve, gentlemen, May 28 and May 30.
Motion to approve both sets.
Second.
Thank you. Any additions or corrections from anyone? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That motion carries. Mr. Beatty, if you will join us, please, for the investment report.
Thank you. It's a kind of a non-event report this month. We didn't bid any funds this month, and our LGIP rate dropped another basis point to 11 basis points. We were 13, 12, and 11 the last 3 months. A little, I think, a little surprised by the drop this month, but down a little bit.
Motion to approve the
Thank you,
report.
Commissioner Jordan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum.
No, he just running late.
Okay, good. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. And Mr. Beatty, you have a recommendation?
I do. We rebid our banking services. Something now that the state law requires us to every 4 years evaluate our banking services, but we had kind of set the policy that every term, about every 4 years, we would bid banking services. And actually, last year was our 4th year, but because of the interest rate environment, we stayed actually another year, hoping that this year would be a better time to bid, and maybe it was. It's really hard to know. So what we did an RFP process. We advertised the RFP, in the paper, sent out, I think, 8 of the requests for proposals, and we had a pre-bid conference where we met with the financial institutions, said, this is what we do, this is how we operate, those things. We had 5 financial institutions show up for that, and we wound up getting proposals from two banks, Miss Ely and Miss Nolan, and Julie Bratcher from my office, myself, were the committee that evaluated those proposals. We had been with the last 5 years with First Tennessee and had been very happy. They'd done a great job, but Bank of America just brought us a better proposal for our banking services. As we looked at services, and they're really kind of comparable, but the cost of services and then the return on the balance that we have in the institution was just a better proposal. So our recommendation is to proceed with moving to Bank of America to handle our accounts.
We're gonna do that yearly, or are we gonna, what are we gonna do?
About every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
Yes, actually what we kind of do is 3-year contract discussion with 2 1-year extensions. Now, we've got a 60-day, either party can get out, just in case that we have trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big deal to bid it, to put all that together. We've spent quite a bit of time with, plus the transfer commissioners is fairly large, so you almost have to do it for a long enough period for it to make sense.
Yeah.
Because we've got drafts in and a lot of things automated that we'll be willing to move, but every year it's difficult. Plus for the bank, there's quite a bit of setup on their side, so they almost, they're not really interested if there's not a period of time that we can kind of settle in. So 4 years is kind of our target.
Well, is this going to save us, or is this going to lessen the increase?
We're going to be probably fairly flat. It's going to be fairly flat. It's structured a little different, but looking at it, we'll be about where we are with the move.
Was First Tennessee one of the 2 that did?
They were.
Will there not be some cost to do the signature things and all that? The county will have some cost at the school board office and different places for all those signature cards or templates or whatever.
And transferring the wiring instructions and the money that comes in and goes out, all of that's a cost that we considered very carefully. But there was about a $30,000 a year difference between the 2, and we just felt like we couldn't justify those costs. And to be fair to the bidders, if you come with a better proposal and can provide services, it seems unfair. I couldn't justify, nor could the committee, not accepting a better proposal in the best interest of the county. But we did consider that there would be some costs. I mean, had it been very close, because you're comfortable, you've got this set up and it all works, those costs had to be factored. But we just felt like this was a significantly better bid, that transfer would not cost us anywhere near what we would save.
I felt sure you factor those costs in, just wanted to make sure.
We did, like I said, we were happy, we appreciate it, but we were very satisfied with where we were and realized that it will be a cost. Ms. Elaine will have work to do with that, and Julie and Miles. I mean, just be a lot, and we certainly considered that, but just felt like this was overwhelmingly, when we analyzed it, a better proposal for the county.
When will we make this
Yes.
effective date? Effective date.
We're going to have a meeting with this group to start looking at it.
How about
We'd like,
before
before probably by September 1, we'll have made this transfer. And part of that will be just what it takes to get us set up. There'll just be just some operations. And we've got to meet to get the specifics of that time down.
Yes, and we do need a motion, gentlemen, for the recommendation from our trustee.
I so moved, make that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan.
Second motion.
Seconded by Commissioner. Any further discussion or questions for Mr. Beatty? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, if you will locate your fund condition report, and we begin with the development tax report. Mrs. Nolan?
Yes, ma'am. In May, we received $612,000 in development tax. After adjustments, our fiscal year in total is $3,108,000. So that is $2,108,000 above our estimate. Also, this month, in that $612,000, there were 279 apartments in Murfreesboro. They paid $418,500.
Okay, if we'll move, please, to cash balances.
Total cash at the end of May, $178,421,000, with $166,706,000 being operating funds, $11,715,000 being borrowed funds. Item of note, the two line items that at the bottom that show negative, and Fund 189. Those two projects, Blackman Middle and Smyrna Primary, that we would use existing funds out of Stewart's Creek and Eagleville addition.
There's
So that's zero in Stewart's Creek out?
No,
Stewart's Creek High.
Stewart's Creek High School.
No.
What did you ask me?
What was the
It
question?
zeroed it out. No.
Oh, it does not zero it out, no. We've at 7.6 million still available
Okay.
in Stewart's Creek High.
Bills are still coming in though on that.
Oh, yes. And will continue.
Yeah.
If you remember, a year after
Yeah.
the school opens, we'll be still paying out.
Okay, let's look at revenue, Part A.
On Part A, you can see that we are, in the general fund, 96.26% complete on our revenue realized, and on the ambulance fund, 93.84. We've got 2 more months left of revenue in the ambulance, so it looks like that they're behind, but really we are ahead in the ambulance fund. These items that I've footnoted on the bottom, I've talked about along the way, and you will see when we do the revenue adjustments that these are some of the revenues that we are, will be adjusting. That sales tax in the general fund, which comes from the rural area of the county and represents 20% of that rural tax, is at 52% in the general fund. Hotel tax. Well, I'm not going to go over this because we'll go through detail on the other ones, on the revenue adjustments. But as I told you before, our development tax does exceed what we've got budgeted in this fund by over $1 million. But the pilot will be under collected by about $500,000. Then on B, on your revenue review B, we've got 3 funds that are 100% collected based on what our budgeted numbers are to date. the solid waste fund, the drug fund, and the general debt service fund. Of course, the debt service fund has got two additional $1 million from the development tax that went into that fund to help. And we'll be making those adjustments.
Questions or comments on the fund condition report?
Why does this seem that the school's dragging more? Because I looked at I saw in the general fund that it was up, the ambulance fund was up, but the general purpose schools, it's higher than it has been, but it's still only not even quite 92%, is it?
But it's still higher than all those other ones.
Hmm.
You know, in the 5 years
Your-
previous, we're still
yeah, so-
ahead.
And we came out A-OK all the rest of those years. I guess we got what was budgeted?
No, what I am showing you is, in this last column, is where are we actually received compared to the budget. In the previous years, I'm saying this is how much we actually received to date, not comparing
Right.
to the budget, but more or less comparing to actual.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see that we're ahead compared to the budget, that maybe, I mean, that tells me along the way when I see those numbers that, well, we're ahead of what we would have been at this time. That's good. That means that our revenues are coming in better than what we projected, and we'll fix those projections, you know,
Okay.
at this time of year.
And that's
So
based on the
not-
past performance, because we achieved the amount that was budgeted in years past, right?
It's not that we achieved, I'm not,
No, I know
I'm
that's-
not,
but-
I'm doing it to actual. And by this time, when I'm compared to the years that we've already closed, you know, I'm not comparing budget to budget. I'm comparing our budgeted numbers to actually received, and compare what we actually received to the
Okay.
total actually received.
Okay.
Under that on 3, the sale of equipment 25.6, where is that from?
3, sale of equipment, that was in the drug fund,
Oh, okay.
that's where that was coming from.
That's one of their auctions or something.
That was that's how we have it accounted for. I can't remember the exact details, but that's where most of that 29,000 came from.
They have got an auction coming up this
They do
weekend, I
have
Yeah,
believe.
like
they-
gov deals.
You're right, that is exactly what it is.
What's that?
Gov deals, some of the things that they've got sold
Oh.
online.
But being we're on TV, there is an auction for
Mhm.
seized
There-
forfeitures this weekend at 9 o'clock, I believe, at the Sheriff's Department, 947 Highway. Good place to buy a used car. Bring your checkbook.
Gentlemen, any further discussion?
You see that 674%, we don't budget sale of equipment ahead of time, because we only budget it once we know we got it. Sorry, that was it.
I'll entertain a motion for the fund condition report.
Motion to approve the fund
Thank you,
condition.
Commissioner Schaefer. Seconded by Commissioner Jones. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Risk management. Mrs. Stinson, good evening. You have financials.
If you refer to Fund 264, we'll start there. For the month of May, our per employee per month was $792.28 compared to prior year $681.92. Our year-to-date average is $818.36 compared to prior year of $797.17. When we combine our services through Take Care Health, we are at $823.28 compared to prior year of $719.22. For a year-to-date average of $853.49 compared to $830.63. In the month of May, I will point to the office visits, which reflects 1,815. I just wanted to point out that we did begin extending services into the retail market for Take Care, where an employee can go and obtain the same services at a Middle Tennessee retail location and have the same out-of-pocket, being $0 or $50, depending on what plan they're in. And 87 of these 1815 are actually retail appointments. So we are seeing employees respond to that offering. So next fiscal year, I'll build this report differently so that you all can see what our experience is from an on-site clinic versus the retail market. And I've provided you one more sheet, which you've seen before. This just gives you year-over-year experience for revenue versus expenses. It does look pretty favorable for 2013. However, I did today book in prior year's experience for June through December, and it doesn't look as favorable as it does currently. So as you see that number, I don't want you to prematurely get excited because it won't remain that way most likely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to 266.
Right, for Fund 266. Year-to-date, we're at $732,110. Compared to prior year, we were at $1,010,257. So we're still trending better than prior on our 266 fund.
Motion to approve the report.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jordan.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Surely we got another question for you.
Boy,
you're
waiting for an all in favor tonight.
Did you have something that you?
I do. I just.
Here's worth a shot.
There we go.
Now, I'm projecting a loss at the end of this fiscal year in this fund, but we're still going to be, I think, overall okay, because I just didn't feel like the fund balance in this one, we've got sufficient amounts set aside in the payables that will take care of us. So a small drawdown, I think, is okay. And what we try to do, actually, we look at, since workers' comp was begun, in making sure that schools in the county, in the highway, pay their fair share of this. So we've made some adjustments on the highway fund. We've told them to hold back on their contributions to OJI, because over time they've paid more than their fair share. So we're making some adjustments. It's going to draw down the fund balance at the end, but I just want you to know this is a planned drawdown.
Okay, gentlemen, we do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good evening.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Melissa. No, I'm just kidding.
Ambulance service, Mr. Nunley, good evening. And gentlemen, as you noticed on our agenda, we are going to be doing revenue adjustments for all of the departments. And for each of these revenue adjustments, to make it a little easier on Ms. Short, can we just do a voice vote on revenue adjustments? And then all the other budget amendments, we will do a roll call vote. Okay, so for the ambulance service, we will begin with revenue adjustments.
And the largest revenue adjustment would be for patient charges. We've adjusted along the way, but this is the year-end adjustment. And for this fund, after the netting out the trustees' commission of $550, we have an increase to assigned fund balance of $529,267.
Realized.
A motion for revenue adjustments to the ambulance service fund.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Jordan, was that Commissioner Schaefer? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now, Mr. Nunley, you do have a budget amendment.
Actually, I have
Several.
Well, that's
Have
true.
two.
You have several budget amendments.
on my first page, the reason I have them on two different pages is that one page has been through public safety and the other one has not. On the first page, we received $1,500 from the Emergency Communications District, commonly known as the 911 Board. They received that money from the state, and it's sent to the Emergency Communications District, and then it's divided up among the public safety agencies. but it has to be used for dispatcher training. That's the requirement. So we want to transfer that money into in-service training so that we can spend it in the proper place. The next one on that same page is to transfer $20,000 from a paraprofessional payroll account to communications. That's necessary because OIT has been paying for some of our data circuit lines, and they need their money because the price of the data circuit lines has escalated tremendously. So we owe them right now $10,700, and that's through March the 31st. So to get us through the rest of the year, we need $20,000.
Yes, please.
These have not been through public safety because Ms. Short brought it to our attention that we needed to move some money around. We neglected to remember that the people who bill for us and collect for us bill a month behind. So we need $30,000 to be put into that account in order to pay them for the last month of the year. And the correct way to do that, I believe, is to increase both patient charges and other contracted services by $30,000. We also are going to be short in our utilities account by about $9,000. We propose to get that from transferring money, $2,000 from office supplies, $1,000 from accountants and bookkeepers payroll, and $6,000 from dispatchers payroll to put into the utility account.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman.
Sorry.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Nunley. Gentlemen, general fund budget amendments, and we will again begin with revenue adjustments.
As you go through the increase and decrease, you can see the items that we've kind of talked about along the way that I've kind of brought to your attention, and we're adjusting those items. As you look through these pages, you'll see some lines are grayed, kind of a highlighted area. These are revenue items that are they're restricted, can only be used for a specific purpose. On this first page, development tax is one item that it can only be used for those things that you designate for capital. Also, litigation on this first page for courtroom security can only be spent for that purpose. So as you go through, you can see that we do have several revenues that are restricted in how they're used. So while in total, I'm on page, let me see what page I'm on. 5 of 6, we're increasing total revenues $5,865,552 and decreasing some revenues by $727,159. As you move to the 6th page, we are also increasing those restricted line items to show that those revenues are restricted in nature to get to a net unassigned fund balance increase of $1,827,849.
The motion approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan. This is for revenue adjustments, gentlemen.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan.
We're never going to set a tax rate. We can't get a second on that.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank
But
you.
you're looking at all this stuff to try.
Okay, I am going to change our agenda to accommodate Mr. Farley. He has a function, so if you will now go to our budget amendments, and if you will scan over to fire and rescue. Mr. Farley.
I will need to move $3,000 out of evaluation and testing line 322 to
and $3,000 out of 335 maintenance repair buildings into 499 to purchase a pump for our extrication tools for Rescue 41. Be a total of $6,000.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Schaefer, thank you.
Sorry.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Eel?
Yes.
Also-
Mr. Farley?
Also need your permission to accept a $1,000 grant from the Sprinkler Association. We're going to build two identical rooms side by side. One will be sprinkled, one will not. And this will be a presentation we plan on doing for the full commission, the planning commission, and also the home builders. Kind of give you an idea of what happens in a room that's sprinkled and one that's not sprinkled when it's set on fire.
So you've received,
I haven't, but I'm going to receive it. I've applied for it. It's
From whom?
the the American Sprinkler Association.
Sprinkler Association.
How much will that handle, cover all the cost, or?
It should cover all the costs, and we're working with Home Depot, and they're giving us a cut rate, so that should be enough to buy the lumber and build those two structures side by side.
We're gonna burn it down.
Much.
One slower than the other, hopefully, right?
We're gonna put the other one in.
Yeah.
so I guess, here's my question. By next commission, will you have had it so we can do a budget amendment?
Yes, I should be getting it this coming week.
This week, so.
Well, what I was going to, I've
Doing
asked.
it before June 30th, we'll be paying it and.
Well, what I said to you about on appeal about a building maintenance.
Right, but that's what I'm
and
saying, we're
putting
gonna
that in
get it, so
there.
we need to do
Yeah.
a budget amendment when you do your, resolution.
I guess it'd be too simple to get the Sprinkler Association to pay Home Depot.
That would be great if they could do that,
Don't work that way.
Don't work that way. In a simple world, that would work, you know. Keep it out of the county books altogether.
because I think it's gonna come out of material supplies, so we thought that's where it'd be put it, so.
$4.99.
Mhm.
Well, no, it actually come out of building maintenance, I think, and then we just swap it. Pull a PO for it, and then that money will go back in there.
Money will go into a revenue account.
It's probably,
Right, it's
yeah.
going revenue, but you're taking the cost out of building maintenance.
So it cost us nothing,
Mhm.
except some sweat labor, right?
That's just my sweat and labor.
Okay. Well, sure it'll be a good structure.
Make sure to pull a permit and get the code before you do
Sure, it's got restrooms.
it. Handicap accessible. all
Well,
that.
I'll make a motion to approve the acceptance of the grant with all needed signatures.
Commissioner Schaefer, thank you.
Second.
And seconded by Commissioner Bond. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you. Mr. Corbett, would you join us, please?
County or
Gentlemen,
city
if you
want
will
their public
stand
permit.
backwards, please. Mr. Corbett is presenting a budget amendment from Planning and Engineering.
I've actually got 5 different ones here.
Yes, and we'll take this one separately, and then we'll go into the stormwater and the others
Okay,
separately.
which one is? I got
The
my staple.
first one
Okay.
is
First one.
for the employee who is,
The accumulated, for the employee who is retiring.
employee who is retiring.
Yeah, I'm asking for you guys to pay for my unused vacation time. I'm
Sorry.
retiring. I'm retiring at the end of the month. I told Lisa this should be like a lottery ticket where you get a multiplier, so
We
as you
would
know-
turn you down, but your wife's with you. I'm afraid to turn her down.
Since I'm retiring at the end of June, all of that line item will be used up, so we need to transfer $3,650, and it's coming from unassigned fund balance.
Yeah,
Commissioner Jernigan and
Second.
second from Commissioner Sandlin.
I was gonna say, I think we
Second one's like into it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you would like, yeah, we do have another person leaving. Yeah, we can do these together. Mr. Corbett, if you will.
Yeah,
do
this
the-
one is for Todd Sullivan.
Mhm.
He and his wife are moving back home to Florence, and he's leaving us, and we owe him more vacation, and we need to move $5,900 there from, well, we need, and all the benefits from is unassigned fund balance,
$7,100.
$7,110.
Commissioner
Yes.
Jernigan, will you include that in your motion and Commissioner Sandlin in your second? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And
So-
now the stormwater. Should we do?
Oh, you did on the
We should, I apologize, I've gotten in the habit of saying.
Got in that fast lane, tried to
Yes.
spell
The two accumulated leaves for both the person retiring and the person leaving, this is what we're voting on. Call the roll, please.
Okay.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Thank you, Mayor Rhodes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. Now, if you will do the stormwater.
Stormwater one?
Mhm.
Okay, we got a new position in the budget for an inspector. And so we need it's a self-leveling laser. Our field people need those because they do measurements and stuff in the field. We also need some additional funds in our gasoline. Some of ours are using our old Suburban and it uses more gas than we anticipated with additional costs. So we're asking to move $1,300 from our line item 399, which is our other contracted services. We had in that budget $2,400 to do a project with MTSU where the state was going to require us to go out and test the health of one of the streams. Well, they moved that to next year, so we didn't have to do that this year. So basically, we want to use part of that money to take care of this self-leveling laser and the gas requirement that we need for the rest of the year.
The level and the gasoline, gentlemen.
So moved.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yeah. Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. Mr. Corbett, we'll do the next two together from engineering, and that is for Rachel's Place and Poplar Cove.
We have two more subdivisions that we have bankrupt developer that we need to finish up. Rachel's Place is down south, and it's almost completely built out in there. We need to finish that. We just need to put the topping on the road. There are a few minor repairs, but we've got it out for bid, and we'll open the bids next Tuesday. We anticipate, our estimate is $115,000 for that project.
Did we get anything off the bond on that one?
We did not get anything out of this one. This one, the bank sold the lot at auction, and at the same time, we were working with the developer and the bank, and they said they were going to redo the bond. And apparently they told the developer one day, we need our money the next day, then they put them up and sold them. And anyway, so that's the story on that one.
And if we'll scan over to the next one, Poplar Cove.
Poplar Cove is up toward Smyrna. It's a small subdivision, about 10, 12 lots. The developer who was doing this was killed in an automobile accident and went to his estate. The wife turned it over to the bank then sold the lots. Anyway, this one only has 4 inches of rock in it, so we were asking to put 2 inches of rock, binder, and a final coat on this one. We estimated it'll cost around $60,000.
How much?
Sir?
How much do you say?
60,000. And these are coming out of 590, which are.
This one here on the Rachel's Place.
Yes, sir.
That didn't just happen. That's been a while.
No,
We're just
that's-
now getting to this point.
That's correct. It's-
Well, it's just getting
Okay.
finished now.
That's the one that kind of really started this looking of
Right.
all this. Yeah. Okay.
And they're getting to where they're almost built out.
What I was saying actually for the viewing audience, I guess as well, that this just didn't happen.
Right, that's
This-
true.
We've got things in
It's
place
been going
now.
a few years on these.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder, how come if the bank can sell the lots in there and that we don't get a portion of that since we become, the bond was there and we become responsible for the finished road?
Well, there were letters of credit.
Yeah, these are letters of credit.
Both of these were, and the banks refused to extend the letters of credit.
Mhm.
We probably could have gone back on every individual lot owner and divided this out and drug them all into court, but that would have got really messy, and they would have really been caught out of the blue because they didn't have a clue they were buying lots in a subdivision and had a road bond issue. So it would have been, and legal cost on divided amongst that many on every individual lot would have probably been more than we're looking at here.
That's probably true.
I remember we had some of these conversations in planning a year ago about what the best way to address this was, but I'd like a motion to approve both.
Commissioner Jordan. Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Any further discussion or questions for Mr. Corbett? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Thank you.
Best wishes to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I was thinking about denying it, but I mean, I'd just not pay you, so you're still gonna leave, so.
I have to work some more after that.
Hey, we appreciate your service,
Thank
sir,
you.
really and truly. We're gonna miss you.
Gentlemen, a budget amendment from the Health Department. Mrs. Nolan?
This is a request to move monies from her drug and medical supplies because she needs additional funding in her communications and her maintenance and repair services in the building. All within her budget.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. A budget amendment from drug court.
As you've seen along the way, there's communications, a lot of budgets are being adjusted as well with drug court. She is requesting $4,900 from unassigned fund balance, $3,600 for supplies and materials to pay for her drug screens, and $1,300 for her communication lines.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Salmon. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yeah, yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
No.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. Correctional Work Center.
Water gave you a cold.
Mr. Salandy, good evening. You will present your budget amendment, please, sir.
Yes, well, we have one that we were gonna recant, the one for the DVR system. What the vendor, we're trying to work out a better service agreement, and right now it doesn't seem to be stable, so we don't wanna pursue it at this time. So with your permission, we would not move on with that request.
Okay, was that the 18.5?
The 14.
The 14.
So we still.
Oh, the 14 there.
Still need 4,500.
Okay.
Yes, the other one.
For the prisoners' clothing.
I see what you're saying, okay.
So the prisoners' clothing, we requested 45 from line 399, other contracted services. We are having a lot of problems with the current T-shirts we're using for the prisoner clothing. So they're not lasting as long, so we're trying to get a stronger canvas type material. So we're going to purchase those in the next couple of weeks.
So moved.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer.
And $399 changed to $4,500 as well, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Watkins from General Sessions Court. Good
Yes,
evening.
Good evening. Yes, I have a budget amendment request to transfer $500 from maintenance and repair and $1,000 from library books to travel, please, which totals $1,500 to travel.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jordan. Discussion or questions for Ms. Watkins?
I hope you're the one getting to the travel since it's sent you up here to wait through this meeting.
I'm not the one. I'm not the lucky one.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pet adoption and welfare services. Mr. Gregory, good evening.
Request an amendment within our budget to move $2,000 from drugs and medical supplies over to our communication account to finish out the budget year.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Schaefer, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Emergency management. Mr. Hooker, good evening.
Good evening.
Your request, please.
Requesting to move $900 from line item 101, which is dues and membership. Typically, we have these fees with the Emergency Management Association of Tennessee. We're no longer required to make that payment this year because they moved the payment into next fiscal year, so we won't have that expense. Printing and stationery, $349, $655 remaining. $2,000 remaining out of our diesel fuel fund on 412, and 500 gallons on gasoline, and putting it all for a total of $4,055 and $499 to purchase a generator, several 800 megahertz mobile radio batteries that have gone past their shelf life, some iPads for the staff so we can get even with you all. And
You're welcome to mine.
Yeah.
And herbicide sprayer so we can maintain the grounds around our tower facilities.
Who to approve?
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Unemployment compensation, Mrs. Nolan.
This amendment is to allocate funding for the unemployment compensation to the departments where the expenses occurred. So this is a decrease of $17,747 in the pooled amount, with the amounts going to election, county buildings, county clerk, correctional work center, and juvenile detention.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Mrs. Nolan.
This is a request to move $100,000 out of the unassigned fund balance into judgments. And this is to provide enough revenue to fund the reserve that's required by a third-party administrator for property and casualty. Now, I'll just give you a little history on this. We set the budget at $800,000. I don't remember which month it was, but the reduction for the amended was to move money out for the Elam Road Fire Department. At that time, the reserve said we were fine, thought we were great, but I did tell y'all that we'd have to look at it, and we may have to come back. So, I believe $100,000 will get us through with maybe about $20,000 scooching room at the end.
So we're not necessarily going over budget, we're just not able to draw down as much as we thought we could.
Right.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. Any further discussion relative to the motion?
Just what all kind of judgments are involved in this fund?
This would be
Oh,
somebody ran over somebody's mailbox or.
Well, it's
Oh, yeah,
800.
automobiles.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Mrs. Nolan, traffic control?
This is a request to move $2,000 from the maintenance and repair of equipment to the utilities. The electric bills are coming in much higher. Ms. Lane has called in to find out what it was, but I believe Mr. Mayor said that the lights are now working at the
Those lights were
raceway.
all burned out, and when we put all the light bulbs back in or had them placed in, we're
Using
really
more
getting a bill now.
electricity. They've been out for no telling how long. I was by there and noticed they were all back burning, so.
Okay, there you go.
No good deed goes unpunished.
No, sir.
So now pay the bill, huh?
Yeah.
So, which exit's this?
It's, I don't.
Well, it's a racetrack.
It's a racetrack.
The racetrack.
Underneath
The
it.
lights under
Yeah.
the bridge are the county's responsibility,
Oh,
we found out.
okay.
I remember I got a call about that.
Move
TDOT
approved.
pointed to us.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Jernigan, second by Commissioner Sandlin. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Chancellor Court.
This is a request to move $6,000 from the maintenance agreements to legal notices to pay for notices for the delinquent tax sales. As those payments come in, then this will those revenues will offset, but right now we don't want to overdraw this line.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sandlin. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Mrs. Nolan, County Attorney.
This is a request for $10,000 from the unassigned fund balance to pay the legal services that are above or beyond the legal services agreement.
This is for the total for the year?
Well, you see, we started out at 110,000, we've amended it up to 186,000, and I guess the bills have come in that have exceeded that, so we need another additional 10.
Do we know what that's on?
It's things like when the animal control department has to take people into court, cite them for dangerous dogs, et cetera. These are additional legal expenses that are beyond our routine services.
So this isn't one event,
No,
$10,000. This
these
is
are
a number.
smaller events that add up to real dollars when you look at 10 or 20 or 30 occurrences that might have happened over the year. Move to approve.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Juvenile detention, Mrs. Nolan.
This is a request to transfer funds out for the instructional supplies and materials to office equipment so that they can purchase a copy machine, and this will be purchased with Title I monies.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Mr. Russell, if you will join us, please,
Good evening.
with your request.
Okay. I just want everybody to know the sheriff is graduating Rutherford Leadership Academy tonight, so that's why he is absent this evening. So, we'll start off with number one, the sale of materials, $82, and we're going to put we'll put those funds into the other supplies for the vegetable garden. That's what the first three are here. Sale of recycled materials, $1,172, and donations of $1,120. We're going to put all that into the vegetable garden since it's that time of year. If you've been out there, you can see things are finally starting to sprout up and everything, so it'll be in full blossom here for too long. We got an insurance recovery check on from a vehicle, so we're going to put that into our new vehicles account line item. The communications equipment, we're going to pull money out of the detention repair and put into the maintenance of the building for the maintenance division to have some more money. On the other contracts item on the jail side, we'll pull $6,000 out of there and put into food prep supplies. prisoner clothing, which is the jail side 441 line item. Prisoner clothing, we're going to put that money into the custodial supplies line item. Out of miscellaneous refunds, we're going to pull $78,000 from there and put $53,000 in the inmates' food, and then $25,000 in prayer maintenance for the building. We're going to pull out of
Miscellaneous refunds?
Yes, sir. That is where Dr. Rudd goes out and bills the state of Tennessee for medical care, and it's money that the state reimburses if we take an inmate to the hospital. And so those funds come into the general account. It was actually 90-something, was it 95,000, I think, to start with. He's also appealed another 20, which is coming in. We didn't need all those funds. We're just using a portion of it if y'all allow it. And of the 78,000. So, and then the balance will stay in the general fund. And I don't have an answer back on that one yet on the appeal, but I should this either tomorrow or first of next week. I should, unless you know something before. No, not yet. Okay. Sometimes you guys know it before we do.
Wait a minute, just a second. Lisa, that 78,000, I'm just not all comfortable there. It seemed like
Okay, what
we're going to
happens?
pay out of that, which
What-
we're paying out of that anyway. So it seemed like on the, when it all shuffles out, we're going to make up that 78,000 that we're taking out and doing something else with it. Yes, I was thinking so.
Yeah, well, I mean, what it is, I mean, they would have paid out for those medical expenses
Right.
out of their budget, out of the
Right.
budget. So you've already paid, we've already budgeted and paid out.
Right.
So this is money that they've asked the state to pay for those state prisoners that had services outside our facility.
Right.
And so they're paying it. So you have budgeted it, and there's some revenue that's offsetting it. So-
Well,
the
that's
money
what I'm
came-
saying. You can't spend that $78,000,
You-
though. It needs
I
to
mean,
stay
it's-
in that.
It's coming in, it's
Comes in.
revenue,
Came
it's
into
showing,
revenue.
he's recognizing it, just
Reimbursement.
like all those revenue adjustments
Mhm.
that we did earlier.
Mhm.
Knew that was coming in, she did, Elaine did not pick that one up because she knew he was going to use that for this adjustment, so. I mean, it's, for, one way to look at it for us, it's unexpected revenue.
And without this, I mean, you could do it this way,
Mhm.
or we could have drawn down the ending fund balance.
Balance.
Accomplished the same thing exactly.
Yeah, and dumped it back in.
Dumped it right back in, so I mean, it's 6 of one and a half a dozen of the other.
It might have looked cleaner if it was going back in the line item that pays Dr.
That's what I
Rudd.
was thinking. That's
You
what
know,
I
but
was
it's
thinking.
still dollars that are in the
That's what I was
jail
thinking.
or the sheriff's budget, and it just, you could have put that and done a transfer from that budget line item over,
Right,
but it
right.
would have
Right.
still got to the same place.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So number 9, in-service training, we're going to pull $5,050 from there, and those are going to go into the maintenance contracts on the sheriff's office side, repair maintenance of equipment, line item 336 on the sheriff's office side, $4,500, and then data processing services or supplies. Am I reading that backwards? I'm reading that backwards, aren't I? Okay, sorry. We're going to pull, let me start over. So we're going to pull $5,050 from the in-service training line item, $1,050 from the maintenance contracts on the sheriff's office side. Under repair maintenance of equipment, $4,500, and data processing supplies, $1,500. $950 from office supplies, data processing equipment, $4,500, and $175 from office equipment. And under these are all of the remaining balances for the IT's specific budget at our office. It's not detailed. You guys don't normally see this. You get the bulk line item, but we actually do break down department budgets at our office. And we're going to move all that money, which totals $17,725, into line item 317, which is data processing services. And then our last one is on the jail side, the maintenance contracts, $12,100, and we're going to put that into detention data processing equipment, $12,100. You can go with the other one that I sent over today.
The overtime?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to do that one? Okay. All right. And then we needed some additional funds for the detention overtime. So we're going to move from the sheriff's office overtime budget $5,000 in related benefits and put that in the detention overtime budget $5,000 in related benefits. And that's all.
That's all his budget. Motion to approve the transfers.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer, seconded by Commissioner Bond. Discussion or questions for Mr. Russell? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond.
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan.
Yeah.
Commissioner Jordan.
Yeah.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
Commissioner Ewing.
Yes. Okay, we will do the Special Purpose DEA Fund, and first we will do revenue adjustments. Mrs. Nolan?
The only adjustment that we're, revenue that we're adjusting is the investment income for $133.
So moved.
Second.
Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now the asset forfeiture funds.
Yes, ma'am. We had $9,713.08 in asset forfeiture. And we're going to, and for the month of May, and we're going to put that in our 319 confidential account.
Who approved?
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bond. Discussion? Commissioner Schaefer, you have that look.
Yeah, what is a confidential account? I mean, I can know what the word confidential means. Yeah.
For purposes that can go on the TV, it's where we buy equipment and things of that nature to conduct law enforcement operations that
There you
everybody
go.
know what we got.
Okay.
Know the toys that we have. So.
Okay, all right. It just seemed.
Oh, yeah.
Confidential, someone's pocket.
It's one of those, you gotta have one of those accounts, we're gonna do what we do, so.
Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
I didn't remember.
Commissioner Bond.
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan.
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan.
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
Commissioner Ewing.
Yes. Drug Control Fund, we have revenue adjustments. Mrs. Nolan?
Yeah, that's right.
The net adjustment for this fund, plus the trustees commission, that makes it net $168,077 increase for the streets for public safety. Increasing drug control fines and proceeds from confiscated properties. 95,000 is the largest.
Who to approve?
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Is that it?
I just have one more thing to announce. We are receiving $30,000 in the JAG grant for this year. That's our portion of a shared larger grant in conjunction with Murfreesboro. And I just want to make you guys aware that I did inform the Commissioner Farley, and he agreed to move that information forward to this committee. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Yes, ma'am.
This is the one that we have, that intergovernmental agreement that
Right.
we need to approve.
Right.
When will we have that?
They actually have the paperwork. I think they're going to bring it to the mayor's office tomorrow or Monday.
Because we need, it needs to go through the commission.
Okay, all right. I'll make sure that occurs. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
See, Ms. Lester.
So are we gonna take that straight to commission, or?
Oh, we didn't vote, do that.
We didn't do a vote
Yeah,
on
we
this
need
to
to
accept the
what do we
grant?
do?
To accept the grant and
So that is
And
accepted.
it'll be, accept the grant and
Execute the
execute the
intergovernmental.
intergovernmental agreement.
So moved.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Accept the grant, and then that's the intergovernmental.
It's two different pieces.
Yes.
Okay, okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I just looked and I
Okay.
thought I didn't see you. All right, your request to submit a grant application, we do have the letter that you submitted, and
Yes.
that is all the information we have. So if you will give us some more information.
That's really all the information I have at this time as well. Every few years, maybe every 3 to 5 years, the state election office provides a free computer to each of the 95 counties. I believe they had the funding in the state election office maybe as much as a year to 2 years ago to do it, but given redistricting and the upcoming presidential elections a year and a half ago, they just didn't have the time to actually
shop for what they actually wanted to buy. So now that the 2012 elections are all said and done, they have the time to do that now, and therefore that's why we're in this process right now. So they're basically just going to give us a free computer. This is also going to serve the same set of documentation that's already been filled out by the finance office and trustee's office and so on. Will serve for the upgrades for the Microvote Infinity machines that are going to be purchased for our county. And the ones that we already own will be upgraded, and then the ones that we've been leasing over the course of the past few years will be purchased for us. We don't know exactly how many yet, but it will be paid for penny. So we'll have to come back after the beginning of the next fiscal year and do a budget amendment, but the expenditure will be offset equally by the revenue from the grant. So there's no matching involved or anything like that. It's just free equipment all the way around.
Motion to approve free equipment.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
So this is like
Aye.
permission to submit application.
Are these voter machines that have been kicking around for several years that who was it, the state that had approved and then they held off on them and that type thing?
Well, these voting machines are the ones that Rutherford County has been using for several years. But with the upgrades to these machines, they're taking them back to the factory and completely doing a factory refurbishment on them. And they will be like brand new machines, and we'll get an 8-year warranty with that. So all of the new machines that we're getting, as well as the ones that we already own that are being completely refurbished with the upgraded firmware and so on, will have an 8-year, I know it's parts, I think it's parts and labor warranty. So it's a really good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a given in that.
You said that?
Yeah.
Ms. Bigby, you are, we have 2 grants that are part of your budget. One with the Department of Children's Services for Community Intervention Services and Custody Prevention Services.
Yes, ma'am. I'm asking for approval for both of those grants. They are annual grants that are pass-through funds.
Okay, and then
46
they're called Teen Tracks.
Yes, ma'am. And one is the Genesis.
And one is 46,448, and the second one
is 417,696.
696.
Yes,
So moved.
Second. And that's what, anything that's got to be signed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer.
With the authorizations and everything. Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Elam?
Yes. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Gentlemen, item 12 on our agenda, we have a recommendation from Property Management Committee to lease and renovate communications tower on Hudson Road. And that is a motion from Commissioner Farley, seconded by Commissioner Gooch, to accept the mayor's recommendation as to the communications tower. This was a unanimous vote in committee, and I will then ask the mayor to tell us what his recommendation was.
There's an unused 300-foot tower on Hudson Road, which is in the western part of our county here, that will help us improve our communications and make it a part of our whole network here. And it's on Mr. Elam Carlton's property, and it's been there a number of years. It's not being used. It's available at a very reasonable price. It's been a real complicated history of this tower that he's leased this to people that had microwave equipment for a number of years, and they've quit using it, quit paying quit paying their property taxes. So we didn't find out about this until the notice started coming from the unpaid property taxes. So here's what we want to do. We want to assume the liability for the unpaid property taxes, which is about $7,400. We want a lease term of 25 years. at $500 per year, and a second option of 25 years at the same rate. And at the end of the lease, we'd be responsible for the cost and removal of the tower if at that point in time. Subject to legal determination by our county attorney that the previous leases are in default and have been properly noticed and canceled.
Yeah.
Initial cost is going to take us up to $25,000 to sort of refurbish and do what we have to do and relight the tower. Right now, the tower is unlit and it's out of compliance completely in that respect. So we need to do all that, and then we will have to determine exactly what equipment goes up there as we go forward and couple that and make it consistent with what we're putting on the other towers.
So you're making sure whoever put it up there to begin with is totally out?
Yes, first.
Yeah, first.
So it's a real good opportunity for us to really, at a low cost, get access to the tower without even putting up the tower. It's already there.
So we can put communications on it to make it just like Tiger Hill or Lynch Hill. Okay.
And it's in the spot that will significantly help us out.
Mr. Gurley has confirmed all of that. And all of us know that's one of our weaker areas communication-wise.
This is somewhere up near Burnt Knob, Almaville?
Or
up in
Rock
the-
Vale somewhere. I would think.
Hudson? Okay.
It's sort of south of Burnt Knob, but more toward Rockville and Eagle Valley.
Okay.
Make a motion approved.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion relative to the motion?
The property management's taking the resolution to the commission, right? We're not doing anything budget-wise right now.
I guess my
right?
question is, it'll go in next year's budget,
We won't actually spend any money this year.
so we'll need to, is the appropriate place to
Well,
put it in the EMA
at some point, we'd like
budget?
to go ahead and put in $25,000 for ability for us to relight this tower.
Is that, I mean, whose budget should we put it in, EMA's?
EMA, put it
EMA.
in along with the rest of the communication stuff that they're doing.
Property management will do the lease part, right? I mean,
Well, they've authorized us to go forward, subject to the attorney drafting lease, et cetera,
So are we
taking it to the
taking,
commission.
are we taking it just the concept, this is what we're gonna do?
Yeah. Take the concept.
So will property management, I
Is
guess
property
that's my
management
question,
doing it?
for right now, will property management handle this at the commission level? Is there
Oh,
anything for budget?
oh, yes, we
Is there
can.
anything for budget committee to do at the commission level? Right.
How are we gonna get the $25,000
We're gonna put it in
pre-approved?
next year's budget.
Gonna put it in next year's budget. Okay, we're gonna put that in next year's budget. There's really not a lease to take yet.
Well, I'd
to the
say it's
Property
a-
management, he takes the
But the
concept,
concept, right.
Take
and
the
then,
concept.
and then we'll add it to the budget before we approve the
Yeah.
budget.
Okay, we'll get, property management, Mr. McAdoo can take the concept, and we'll just have a resolution to adopt the concept and
And
give
authorize
us
you
the
to
authority to move forward with the
forward
lease.
with the process.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 13, Solid Waste Sanitation Fund. And we will start with revenue adjustments.
Okay, the net, the increase. Again, you've heard us talk along the way, local sales tax, the solid waste department gets 60% of the rural sales tax that the county receives. So after our net, and tipping fees have increased $139,000. Our net increase after trustees commission is $639,748 assigned for public health and welfare.
So moved.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And a budget amendment for unemployment compensation.
And this is to put the expense into the department where the expense actually occurred. It's $318 from the pooled amount to convenience centers unemployment.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sandlin, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. Highway Department, beginning with revenue adjustments.
The change, net change to the committed for highways for public works is 9,470, and then the assigned for public works is 1,158,561.
Tell me that again, I was not exactly clued in there.
No, I did that in my head.
Yeah, but it's not on your.
Look at that number you're at. I don't even see the number you said.
Down at the bottom, committed for highway.
1,209 minus 51,000.
All right, that's why I was looking, that's why I was asking that. I see this number, but that number didn't match your number. Okay.
I was giving you a net number.
I got you. Motion to approve.
Commissioner Salmon, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner
I was looking
Jordan.
at, where is that now?
I didn't think it was 51,000 less.
All in
but-
favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
And we do have an amendment for liability insurance.
Yes, and I kind of touched on that on the workers' comp, where we gave the highway department kind of a free ride this year on their contribution for OJI, but we asked for $45,158 for their portion of the liability insurance is what they need to fund their reserve.
So move.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Jordan. Call the roll.
Paying too much. right?
Commissioner Baum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Aye.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
Commissioner Elam, yes.
General purpose schools. Mr. Sandy, this is item 15, gentlemen, and we really will do 15, 16, and 17 on this same, in these next two screens. Mr. Sandy, good evening.
Good
You have one general purpose school fund budget amendment.
Yes, this amendment funds $96,571 for a large activity bus for Stewart's Creek High School, transfers $45,000 from the school's startup funds in order to, in the
Yeah,
startup
you did.
funds.
And gentlemen, if this sounds familiar, we heard this
Yeah.
in the joint
Yes,
meeting.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm switching to this sheet, I'm sorry. In order to partially fund a small activity bus and transfers $40,000 from 76,100, 799 other capital outlay to the building program fund. We're running a bit tight on our FF&E budget in that area.
These are new ones, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This 96,000 for the big bus will wind up being funded from our reserve from driver's ed when one of the closing entries is done. But right now I need to take it out of fund balance.
Okay.
I've never understood why exactly, but that's the way we do it. And then in that 85,000 that's being transferred to the building program, we will put 75,000 in vehicles to buy a small activity bus. It's rather hard on a high school to spend a lot of money renting vehicles. Well, even with these two, they'll spend a lot renting vehicles until they are able to build that up somewhat. Stewart's Creek High has a copy machine allowance of $30,000 in the building program equipment line. The principal has asked to apply this 30 toward the small activity bus, and rather than go transfer 40,000 and then transfer 30 back, I just did it as a net. But basically, this fund leaves 30,000, puts an additional 30,000 in the equipment line. And our recommended motion is to amend $76,571 from fund balance to $71,105.99 other instructional expenditures for a large activity bus, and to transfer $85,000 to the building program, with $45,000 coming from $71,100,429 instructional materials and supplies, and $40,000 from other capital outlay in order to transfer $85,000 to the building program.
Gentlemen, this needs to be a separate motion because this is general purpose schools.
That's the most complicated way of saying you're buying a bus I've ever heard.
Two buses, right? Two buses.
And I tried cleaning it up a bit from what we first presented. I don't think I did a good job of it.
I make a motion to approve it, though.
Second.
Commissioner Sandlin, second by Commissioner Jernigan for two buses.
Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
Yeah, question, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is this, did we do this for the other high schools that have come on, Blackman and Siegel, or?
The part that is
Well,
different.
sure they did.
Well, the part that is different is basically moving money to the building program to cover the small bus. That is the different part. And you know, as just if we don't do something like this, they will spend. It's rather expensive renting buses with some of the traveling, especially the football team, basketball teams.
Well, the small bus isn't going to fit the football team.
No, the football team go with the big bus, but some of the like cheerleaders and all send on the small bus.
They used to use school buses, didn't they? Didn't they get people to drive?
Well, but we don't own our school
I know,
buses. So
but they used to, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't own, yeah.
We give them special privileges to the new high school.
Well, I'd say
They still do a lot of that. They still rent, you know, from,
they do.
or
Yeah,
lease
yeah.
from our bus drivers, you know, going places and doing things, so.
Dr. Harrell, and I personally agree with him, he is pursuing the lease route on copy machines. And that 30,000 was what we had in the budget for copy machines. So I feel you wind up with a piece of junk after your lease on that, if you buy one. So, you know, the difference is we're letting him use that money. Toward that. But the startup money from the GP budget is money he could have otherwise spent on something else. So,
Okay, all right. Some of his discretion.
Gentlemen, any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. Mr. Sandvik, your school building program budget amendment,
our
please.
building program amendment is the Fund 189 side of the 85,000 transfer that y'all just approved from the general purpose school fund budget. And our recommended motion is to approve an $85,000 transfer from the general purpose school fund in order to fund $75,000 for Stewart's Creek High School vehicle and to increase the equipment line by $10,000 as presented.
We're still working on the same bus.
But, no, this is a little, this is a little one, yeah.
Commissioner Jordan, we're gonna start singing "The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round."
Motion to approve the same bus all over again.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum.
And just so we're bad enough, we're not buying that many buses. This is the same
Same
bus.
bus. Different fund, same bus.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes. And you have petty cash.
Yes, ma'am. This also relates to Stewart's Creek High School in a way. Each year, though, we have to get approval for the petty cash, our cash on hand for the cafeteria fund. And we are requesting to increase that amount by $1,200 this year for a new total of $11,850. The $1,200 will be for Stewart's Creek High School's cafeteria. And our recommended motion is to approve the 2013-14 cafeteria petty cash fund, cash on hand accounts for the centralized cafeteria fund for each school nutrition location in the amount of $11,850.
And gentlemen, if you would like to look at this before you make your motion, if you will look at number 17 on your agenda, there is a listing of the petty cash accounts for each of the schools.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Sandlin.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Debt service fund budget amendments. In fact, we have revenue adjustments.
Yes, and this fund, we talked about the development tax in the general fund. This is the other half of it that goes into the debt service fund. That and some other miscellaneous revenues that we're adjusting. The net increase after the trustees commission is $1,770,710.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Commissioner Schaefer, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
I can see that number.
Thank you.
But better approve it before
Gentlemen,
it
item
changes.
19 on our agenda is to take some time to review any of the budgets for our 13-14 proposed budget. Is there anything any member of the committee would like to bring up or discuss relative to our proposed budget today?
We will have another opportunity to do this after the public hearing,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
And that is next week?
In fact,
No?
if you'll look at the bottom, no, next week will be county commission.
That's right, do the next.
Notice
okay.
your public hearing is June 17th, that's at 7 p.m. here in the courtroom. And then we do have a follow-up meeting on June 19th.
That's a Monday and a Wednesday?
Mhm.
Yes.
Is that a Monday and a Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.
The 17th and the 19th. Is there any other business that needs to come before our committee?
Yes, ma'am. I would just like to say happy 43rd anniversary to my wife. I am spending it here with all you lovely people. And just as a little sidelight, a comedian where I work happened to get on a calculator and figured out that roughly my wife has spent 22,600,800 seconds of putting up with me over the last 43 years.
How sweet.
She's encouraging you to run for re-election.
Is there anything else that needs to come before our committee?
That's right. She's not gonna be
Gentlemen,
a-
thank you. We are adjourned.